Okay, picture this. You're lying in bed, it's late, and you are exhausted, but your brain just won't shut off. You're replaying that one awkward thing you said earlier in the day, and suddenly it's like the most important thing in the world. Sound familiar? Yeah, I sure thought so. Welcome to the mind of an overthinker, where every little moment feels like a life or death situation. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sublime Society. Today we're diving into the chaotic, sometimes hilarious, and often frustrating world of overthinking. Whether you're stressing over what someone really meant in that text or obsessing about tomorrow's math test, overthinking has a way of taking over, and trust me, I have been there. Let me paint you a picture. I was once the person who could spend an entire afternoon dissecting a 2-second interaction. Did they really smile at me, or was that a smirk? Did I just ruin my chances of being cool forever? Okay, I sure did by saying that, and don't even get me started on the late night thought spirals about every possible outcome of a situation that, in hindsight, wasn't even that big of a deal. Overthinking is like having a mental magnifying glass that blows every little thing way out of proportion. It's exhausting, time-consuming, and honestly, it's not doing us any favors. So today, we're going to break it down. Why we do it, how it's messing with us, and more importantly, how we can stop it and how I completely stopped it. So, first of all, why do we overthink? Well, it usually starts with good intentions, like wanting to be prepared or to avoid making mistakes, but somewhere along the way it turns into this monster that feeds on our insecurities. We start second guessing everything, our choices, our relationships, even our abilities. I've been caught in that cycle so many times, and the worst part, it never actually helps. Overthinking just makes me feel more anxious and less confident. It's like trying to solve a puzzle, but every time you move a piece, 10 more pieces show up. And instead of getting closer to the situation, you just get more and more tangled up. Here's what I've learned along the way, and I hope it helps you too. First, recognize when you are overthinking. It's like catching yourself before you fall down the rabbit hole. I've found that just being able to say, okay, I'm overthinking this, can be an absolute game changer. And once you've spotted it, try this. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? Like right now, by trying to solve this, is this something that's in my hands, something that I can fix, that I can solve, that I can control? If the answer is no, then let it go. Just let it go. I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, practice makes perfect. And if it's something you can control, break it down into manageable steps. Focus on what you can do right now rather than worrying about every possible outcome. For me, physical activity has been a true lifesaver. I'm talking about going for a walk, hitting the gym, or even just dancing around my room like no one's watching. It gets me out of my head and into my body, and that shift can make all the difference. Another thing that's been crucial for me is talking about it. Seriously, just getting those thoughts out of your head and into the open can make them seem a lot less scary. Whether it's a friend, a family member, or even just writing it down in a journal, sharing what you're overthinking about can help you get some perspective. Overthinking thrives in silence. When you keep those thoughts locked up in your head, they grow. But when you let them out, you can start to see them for what they really are. Just thoughts. Not facts, not destiny, just thoughts. And here's a little hack I've been using. When you catch yourself overthinking, ask yourself, will this matter a week from now, a month, a year? Most of the time, the answer is no, and that's a pretty good indicator that you can afford to let it go. I know it's hard. Overthinking can feel like it's part of who you are, but it doesn't have to be. Listen to me. Overthinking is not a personality trait. It doesn't have to be. It's something you can work on, something you can manage, and the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. So, how do you deal with overthinking? What's your go-to strategy? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let's share what works and help each other out. And if you're stuck in an overthinking loop right now, which I know many of you will, just know that you are not alone and you've got the power to break free from it. And that is the end of today's episode. I really hope I could help many of you. As always, stay strong and stay sublime.